Hey, you guys, I am back again. Um, this one I had to record like a lot um, because it's a very touchy topic for me because it's very um, emotional because this was a pretty traumatic situation that happened to me when I was around like 13, 14 years old. And I still have to navigate through my life emotionally and mentally from the situation because I still, it still affects me to this day. Um, and I try so hard to um, make sure that I keep my kids safe and um, would never put my kids in that situation like how I was in that situation. Um, so I'm not gonna, that's gonna be another time where I explain what happened to me when I was around 13, 14 years old. But I'm gonna say the incident that happened to me when I was 13, 14 years old, I think it was maybe a couple of months after the situation happened to me. Um, Somebody that was close to the person that did what they did to me um, told another person that um, a similar situation happened to my mother, and my mother's mom knew about it, and they kind of just brushed it underneath the rug. And I don't know if what this person told the other person that told me is true or not, but there are so many situations that occurred in my household when I was living there that I wouldn't doubt that what that person said is not true. So going back, so my mother and I lived with her mother, her significant other, her two stepkids, and the child that they had together. And at the time when we were living with them, we all lived in the household together. And I don't know time frame of when the change happened, but I just remember that out of nowhere, me and my mother was kicked out of the main household, and we were um, kicked out to go to, like, if you live in New York, anybody that lives in New York knows that you have houses that have basements, and then you have the houses that have, I don't know if I'm saying it right. I think it's a cellar where it's kind of like a basement, but it's not connected to the household. So we had a cellar at that time at the house that we were living in. And me and my mother was forced to go live in the cellar. And mind you, you guys, the cellar was not renovated for living conditions. Like, it looked like a cellar. It was freezing cold down there. Okay, there was no bathroom, no nothing. Just different like rooms, because that's what cellar had. And so me and my mom were got, I think, like the closest room to like the exit. And my mom had to buy like one of those heaters that connect in the wall for us to not freeze to death. And mind you, there was no bathroom. So my mom had to um, get like a bucket for us to pee in. And if we had to like poop or take a shower or whatever, we were allowed to go to the main household and do those type of things. And mind you, like during the summertime, it's okay, like for us to walk outside and go to the main household. But during wintertime, it's freezing outside. Whether it's freezing or snowing, we had to literally go from the cellar to the main household to do the things that we couldn't do um, in the cellar. And it was not a condition, living condition where a small child and just a human being in general should be in. And to me, I found it so weird as a kid that how are we living in the main household and then we get kicked out and we're living in this unlivable living condition. And my mother's mom and her significant other and the other three children in the household just went about their life and just acted like this was all normal. And I did not understand when I was a kid, like, what the heck is going on? And I didn't say anything. Well, I don't remember saying anything to my mom. I just went about it. And then when we moved into a new house, we didn't have a cellar, but we had a basement. And there, let me make it clear, there was enough bedroom in that household for everybody to have their own room. And, or even if they didn't want me and my mother to have our own room, me and my mom could have shared a room. But we were still forced to go live apart from the family. So we were forced to go live in the basement. And the basement was not fully renovated for you to live down there. It was just like we were in the cellar all over again. Maybe a little bit better, but still in the same type of conditions like if we were in the cellar. Like it was freezing down there. Thank God that my mom had the um what is it? The heater that you plug in to keep the room nice and warm. Um, and like I said, we used a bucket to pee in if we had to pee in the middle of the night. Um, and when we had to poop or take a shower or eat or whatever, we were allowed to go to the main area of the house. But this is where I'm saying that I kind of believe what that person said, why the reason was that the living conditions changed in our household was because of the incident that happened between my mother and my mother's significant other. I strongly believe, like, I don't think that person's lying because, like, how do you go from you living as a family till we're being isolated from the family? And to me, I honestly am ashamed that my grandmother allowed her significant other to treat her child and her grandchild that way, and she did nothing about it, and she just acted like everything was okay. And also, I completely understand because my mother did not speak good English, and she kind of was manipulated by so many people in her family to make her scared to step out and probably have a better living situation for herself. Um, but I kind of feel sad for my mom that she did not fight harder for me and her to have better living situations, and she thought that was normal what her mother and her significant other was doing to us because it wasn't. And I think that it, I don't even know what to think about it, to be honest. But if somebody dealt with that growing up where you was treated differently, it's not okay because what I went through was not okay. And my family acted like everything was okay and it wasn't okay. But I'll talk to you later about the part two of everything. See you guys.